Good day, everyone. Today is September 1st, 2013. My name is Steve Loflamot II, your moderator, and this is Liberia Destiny Debaters that are seeking Liberia's destiny through steward public political discourses in its totality, freedom of threats, name calling, and personal attacks. Our guest is Dr. Julius Sarwolo Nelson, Vice President, Dean of Student Affairs of the University of Liberia. We were not able to get hold of Dr. Zawun because of his trip to Valhom. So with us is Dr. Julius Sarwolo Nelson, Vice President, Dean of Student Affairs of the University of Liberia. Honorable Nelson, Dr. Nelson, it is a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege for me to be online with you tonight.
Could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself before we begin to take questions? We have a lot of people on the line waiting for you.
I'm Julius Nelson, born in Sony-Wen, grew up in Monrovia. Privileged to be a graduate of the University of Liberia from the T.J. Arrow Faulkner College of Science and Technology. Went to seminary, came back to Liberia, and now I'm privileged to work at the University of Liberia since 2007, recruited through a search process when Dr. Hassan Conte was president of the University of Liberia, and then in recent time being named the vice president and dean of student affairs. I'm also the associate professor of philosophy and ethics in the Liberia College at the University of Liberia. But it's good to be with you tonight, and happy to deal with comments and issues that will come in our discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Sarwolo Nelson, Vice President, Dean of Student Affairs of the University of Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Steve Loflamot. Dr. Nelson, we're going to go ahead and take our first question. Our first caller is caller 6929. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Julius Sarwolo, and I'm calling from North Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters.
Actually, I'm a doctoral candidate in educational leadership at the University President. The reason for which I'm coming on this line was to ask an important question, and that question was I've gone to Dr. Sloan, because I understand he's responsible for higher education, and my contribution in my doctorate was higher education. So I was looking for instance, public and private universities in Liberia.
Are you using a speaker? The doctor, I don't think we can hear you very well. Can you take off the speaker?
I'm not using a speaker. I'm using a cell phone.
Okay.
You can hear me clear?
Yes, a little bit now.
Oh, okay. I was saying, it says that the Sloan is not online because I understand he's the person responsible for the higher education in Liberia. But since Dr. Nelson is here, I want you to please help us here. Public and private universities, there are laws that govern public and private universities. Now, I want to know, how are the laws of Liberia, the Constitution, whether they apply to students in public universities and private universities in Liberia? How are they applying? For instance, in the United States, if a student commits some sort of big crime in the private university, the private university has the mandate to take care of that. Private university have their own laws that cannot be infringed on by the Constitution in any way. So in Liberia, what is the difference? What are these kind of laws do apply in Liberia? I just want to know about that.
Well, both public and private universities work under the umbrella of the laws of Liberia. The Commission on Higher Education that is headed by Dr. Michael Slewian. And right now in Liberia, there's an association of Liberian universities that bring together all the higher education or tertiary institutions and coordinated by a president and officers of that group. Currently, Professor Emmett A. Dennis, the president of the University of Liberia, is the head of that particular institution, and they work very closely with Dr. Michael Slewian. We all operate under the laws of Liberia. The only big difference you will find now is that the private university organized by churches or other institutions usually most often tend to work within the framework of the laws of their church, but they have to meet the demands and the rules of the university put forward by the Commission on Higher Education, and that is the governing board of tertiary institutions in the country.
Okay. Just to follow on that, I want to know if can I make a quick follow on that?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes,
I want to know, for instance, here, if a student is involved with some sort of problem in a private university and the student sues the court, and if here, if the student goes to say the court will say, okay, we defer that to the university because we cannot interfere in the private university. Now, I want to know whether that kind of law you have the same thing in Liberia where a student in a private university in Liberia will sue the university and it's all come and say, okay, that's it. Any court in Liberia. I
think we get here. Feedback from you are driving. We're getting a feedback from the wind, from the breeze that's coming in. You are driving, I think so. Is that right?
Yeah, I was saying whether you have that system where the court will say, okay, we will defer it to the private university governing law, the Constitution, because as you usually do in the United States here. The Constitution always defers to the private university law. I don't know whether you have that system in Liberia. Like, for instance,
no, we don't. Nothing indeed about that. Go ahead. We don't have the similar situation or law like that you are referring to. What I do know is that the laws put down by the Commission on Higher Education before you organize any tertiary institution in the Republic, they must meet those particular benchmarks. And if they don't, then you have a problem. If there's some crime committed by a student, you still have to operate under the laws of Liberia. For example, if the student at the University of Liberia, they will first come to the Office of Student Affairs, and we try to intercede for them, but they still have to meet the demands of the laws of Liberia. You are now outside the confines of the laws of Liberia, even though you are a student at a tertiary institution.
Cora, do you have a recommendation for Dr. Nelson? Do you have a recommendation, Cora?
Yeah, my recommendation is that there's a need. There needs to be some sort of idea gathering where we have to change the educational law of Liberia, where you have private institutions, private universities, their own law, it can be deferred to by the Constitution of Liberia. For instance, if a student does anything wrong in a private university, or the university will have to investigate, so that if a student goes to court in the future, the court will say, okay, we'll defer to the law of the university, the private university, or the national government, or the government.
It seems to be that you are okay. Outside. We can't really hear you. We're having problem hearing you. You are outside, and the breeze is interfering with the communication. Please.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay now. So give your recommendation.
Okay,
we have a lot of people online.
We need some sort of way of trying to do something about the laws of Liberia, where you have private universities having their own law that they can be deferred to by the court, as is done in the United States. As I said, if a student in a private university here sues the university, the Constitution or the court will always defer to the law of the private university. So we need that kind of law in Liberia, where if a student in a private university in Liberia goes to court against the university, but that can be deferred to the university law. We need that kind of system in Liberia, and we need a discussion on often.
Okay. Dr. Nelson, I will let's call in line here. It's called 687971. Your name and where you calling from? 6871. Are you with us?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm on.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
My name is Harrison Soto. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Welcome to the show tonight, Harrison.
Thank you. To our honorable guest, my question to you is in reference to the recent entrance exams that were given. And now the whole world stood silently and contemplated on this news, whereas 23,000, if I'm not mistaken, students took the entrance exam and they all failed. Indeed, personally, I know that this is a serious situation. I don't think this has ever happened in the world. If it has, I'm not aware of that, but I don't think so. What will be the bottom line during the investigation? What are some things that you expect to come out as a result of this investigation? Is it political, or is just due to the fact that standards were set for students to meet before being qualified as to fail or not? I want to know if you have any idea, because there is a disgrace, to our noble institution, higher institution of learning in our country. So we just tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I don't agree with you that it's a disgrace. You got to understand the context in which you understand the results. The university entrance and placement exam set a threshold that for you to be admitted to the university, you must have 50% in mathematics and 70% in English. And if you give a test and nobody meeting that benchmark, then technically you will say they didn't meet the benchmark or the threshold that you set. For this particular result you are referring to, in that result you must meet the mathematics threshold and the English threshold to be considered passing the entrance exam. This time around, out of the 23,591 that took the undergraduate entrance exam, 308 have 50% of or above in mathematics, but their English score was below 70%. And therefore, at the threshold that was set by the University Faculty Senate, nobody met that threshold to be admitted into the university. The same Faculty Senate agreed to drop the math threshold from 50 to 40% and the English threshold from 70 to 50%. And it was at that limit that we had 1,600 students to pass to be admitted into the university. Where do they come from? They come from high schools. If you understand also know the results that came from WAEC. WAEC have Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and that sort. Nobody in the Republic of Liberia got Division 1. Only 100 out of the 20+ thousand that took WAEC got Division 2. So the people that we are giving our entrance exam to come from high schools all over the country. If they cannot meet our threshold of 50 and 70% to enter the university, why should that be seen as a disgrace? Yes, it is a challenge to the Liberian educational system. We have to work very hard to improve the educational life in our secondary schools, so by the time they come to do the WAEC or the university entrance exam, they will meet those scores or thresholds that will be set by the different institutions. This time around, that was not the case. Before, what happened in the past was that the threshold was still 50% in mathematics and 70% in English. But last time around, they used the average score and did a standard deviation. That brought over 6,000 students into the university. After that result, the university decided that we would not look at any average or standard deviation. We'll use the raw score. Only those that will get 50% in mathematics and 70% in English and above will be admitted. We were forced to come to 40% in mathematics and 50% in English, and only those in that category were being admitted this time to the university. I don't want you to call it a disgrace. It's a challenge for the Liberian educational system, and all of us, those of you who are away and those who are at home, got to put some time, energy, and resources into the whole Liberian educational sector.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you joining us, this is Liberia Destiny Debaters. With us tonight, joining us from Liberia, is Dr. Julius Nelson, Vice President, Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Liberia. We are sorry that Dr. Michael Sloan is not with us because of his assignment in Kuala Home today. So, caller, go ahead and give your recommendation to the Honorable Man. We have a lot of people on the line, so we have to keep going, please.
Thank you. Yeah, honorable guest, my recommendation to you is the university over the years, whenever entrance exams are given, whether this is true or not, but people say, oh, I have to run behind my test. That's the only way my name will come out. And whether this is true or not, my recommendation to you is that you are over there. I know you have education in the Western world. This can never happen. My recommendation is you should set up, the university should have a very standardized committee, if I may term it that way, to monitor the exams and to evaluate and avoid people just fluctuating, within the system that, oh, my name will come up, my aunt is working there, my sister is working there. The university should put every action in place to have the testing very transparent.
Thank you. That is the perception that people have in Liberia, even outside of Liberia, that if you take the university entrance and you got some relative working there, you don't have to study for the entrance exam. You just get to collect $100 or the $150 or $250, and then your name will appear. While this time around, the perception was erased, and we brought people who were telling that story or giving that perception that that's not the reality at the university. Those who are going to take the entrance exam, you need to study, review your 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade mathematics, and then prepare for your English test, basic grammar, know your parts of speech, all of that to be able to pass the university entrance exam. This time around, the consultant, the testing committee, the faculty senate were clear that we're not going to use the basic average. We're going to follow the threshold of 50 and 70, and it was so tight that nobody had any opportunity to say that they were going to bribe anybody to enter the university. People called from all over the world trying to see how best they can let their brother or sister in. But we kept reminding them, if your brother or sister did not do well on the test, they will not pass the university entrance exam. So perception is one thing, and all of us who are Liberians from everywhere need to try our best to erase this kind of perception. We can't believe that everybody working everywhere so corrupt that the only thing you do is keep bribing them, everybody should agree to you. That is a wrong perception. And I think very well that this particular result that came from the university destroyed that perception. People who thought they could bribe somebody, they didn't have that option. The only thing that was used was your score from the university test. The answering of the exam, we saw your score, your raw score. You got 40% in mathematics and 50% in English, and above, you were accepted there at the university. So that is why this time around, only 1,628 students were accepted in the undergraduate level for the university this time around. So that perception about giving money or your relative working there, we are trying our very best to destroy that perception, and all of you all over the world need to help us, that those who will take the test, let them study hard, get the best that they can do, and enter the University of Liberia.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Nelson. Dr. Nelson, our next caller is caller 9084. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, hi. My name is Vafi Sharif, and I'm calling from New Jersey.
Welcome to the show, Vafi Sharif.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Nelson, for coming on our show. I think the question I wanted to ask is on the same university entrance. I'm glad that you have already thrown light on it, but I just wanted to clarify that, like the previous caller said, that the perception, that being going, oh yeah, you have to buy your way through, through the university, that's why it being happening. That's why it been happening, and right now, I don't know whether the changes or try to get rid of the perception, so there were different format of the exam which led to the mass failure. So,
it was the same format. Yeah.
It's the same format, and but why the mass failure? Is it that it was the first before there was like you buy your way through if you feel like somebody was talking about it, and now you guys have come up with a harder one, that actually that led to mass failure or something?
Dr. Nelson has to reload his phone. He just left a lot before you any question here. So we're just going to wait. I know he's sure going to come back because we are scheduled for a full time tonight. So let's hang on and wait for Dr. Nelson. We'll come back to you as he comes on. But in the meantime, Liberia Destiny Debaters can be staying online at www.LiberiaDestinyDebaters. You can also watch the audio podcast on our show. Just go there. You'll be able to enjoy yourself. And Dr. Nelson is staying there with us, so let's hope that he comes back very soon. But in the meantime, we're going to open the line here to see whether we can have somebody keep the line going. Let's go to Dr. Kula. Dr. Kula, how are you today? Dr. Kula, how are you today? Dr. Kula? Can you hear me? Dr. Kula is not hearing me. I don't know what's the problem with my line. Caller, are you still with us? Sherry? Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, but what happened to Dr. Kula? He's not hearing me. So let's hope that Dr. Nelson comes back onto his phone. I think he's trying to lower his phone here. Dr. Kula, are you Dr. Kula, are you with us? 7786. Okay, Doctor is not listening. He's online, but it looks like he's busy on the other side. So we're going to keep the line open here. Let's go ahead and take this caller. I hope he comes back soon.
Muted.
He's calling myself.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello?
The doctor is recharging his phone. So let's give him a few more minutes here. We're sorry that Dr. Michael Clown is now with us because this is schedule. He was sent to Val home, and for some reason we couldn't answer him. We tried to take the call, but his call reaching Val did not get his through. Let's bear with us. Dr. Nelson is trying to reload his phone. Dr. Kula, are you with us? Dr. Kula? Okay, Dr. Nelson is with us now. Yes,
I'm back. Okay.
Cora, go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yeah, are you hearing me?
Yes, we still have you. We're going back to the same caller we had on. Caller, that's what's the guy from New Jersey?
Sheriff.
Yeah.
Sheriff, are you with us?
Yeah, are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I was asking the Dr. Nelson pertaining to the current mass failure of the infant. But I think he almost answered that question. So the second question I want to ask him is what are the criteria of appointing somebody or selecting somebody to teach at the University of Liberia? Because I understand that they have some professors at the University of Liberia that are not well trained, and many students begin to complain about the criteria.
I will not use the language that you are using, say well trained. That would not be a language that we will use. Students have different ways to evaluate instructors or how the perception they will have of the instructor. We have teaching assistants, we have professors. Right now, what we are dealing with is that instead of the 70% tenure track professors and 30% teaching assistant, we have the reverse. We have 70% teaching instructor level, and only 30% are the tenure track professor. We are trying our best to change that kind of ratio, but we get far way to go. Students see professor in different ways. If you are an instructor who will stick to your syllabus and give them work to do, homework every week and all of that, some students will see you as the one who is giving them hard time. They prefer going to an instructor that will give them no assignment, no work. They only come for their midterm and their final exam, and they don't even go to class. When they can do that and pass, then you are a wonderful professor. If you give them work to do and then be very critical about their work, then you are a difficult professor. To say that there are professors that are now well trained, I will not use that phraseology for that. What we believe, we need more into the human capital we need at the university for all discipline. We got far way to go. And those of you who have graduated and are working and can help us in the teaching area, we want you to come back home and join us. We might not be able to pay you what you are being paid there in the U.S., but at least we'll pay you to a level that is in the context of Liberia right now. So we have faculty who are there who are different levels being perceived by students at a different level, but that should not be the information that people who are there are now well trained. That would not be a way to classify a university professor based on years from students or from other people at that level.
Well, do you have a recommendation for Dr. Nelson?
No, thank you. You can go up to another caller.
Thank you very much. Dr. Nelson, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from caller 727.
Yeah, my name is Aaron Kennedy. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, Doc, I want to ask you a question. The president of Liberia has admitted that the educational system in Liberia is a mess. What do you think can be done to correct this shameful mess?
Well, our president has made a statement just to suggest that our educational system is in trouble. And all of us Liberians who are educated need to work hard and contribute to the solution for our educational system. For example, in every county where you have a public senior high school, the reality will be there is no laboratory or a well-equipped library for the students who are in that county to do laboratory experiments or even go and do research at the library. There is no public library in most of these counties. And therefore, all of us need to work hard together. There are people who are going to high school who have not seen a microscope. There are those who are working in some counties who do not have a bachelor's degree in education or other area to even teach. So that is what you are describing. We have our hands filled, but if you go through a civil crisis and a lot of people who are educated leave the country and are very hesitant to come back, then you have a very, very big challenge. What we are doing now is to encourage all of you, if not most of you, who are in the area of education to come and join us in Liberia to see how best we can improve the system. Everybody cannot work in Monrovia, but to work out of Monrovia, they must have the basic things that you need to live out of Monrovia, and that is why we are being challenged by it also. And we hope, as we look to the future, those of you who are in the educational sector can come and join us to just ensure that every public high school in the 15 counties in Liberia will at least have a well-equipped laboratory and a well-furnished library that our students who are in high school can benefit from, and their results on the WAEC or on the university entrance exam will be better from my perspective.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. Scott, do you have a recommendation for Dr. Nelson?
Yeah, I was thinking about recommending something like the cash for gray and sex for gray. What can be done about that?
Was that a recommendation?
That is a negative. In every society, there's a tendency to feed the bad apple and make it a general rule. So there are people who have the information that people pay sex for grades or other things. If you look into the whole basket, that will not be a generalization for all of our institutions. And therefore, those of them that we are catching in the process, we are dismissing them from the university. Those of them who we cannot catch, the one day we'll catch them. It's all day for a row, only one day for you to be caught. And once we catch them, we'll weed them out of the system. As we weed them out, we need people to replace them. And those of you who are out and you have the integrity to be in our educational sector, please come and join us educational struggle that we have in Liberia. The more of you we can have in Liberia in the educational system that will live with your integrity, the better the system will be as we move forward.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Nelson. As a recommendation, but you...
Yeah, my recommendation is I would recommend that the government put in more money for the school system in Liberia, like giving subsidy to schools that meet up with the requirement and monitor them effectively. And we out unqualified instructors. That's my recommendation.
Thank you.
Yeah, more money, that's true, but we also need a human capacity. You can have the money if you don't have the instructors well qualified, the money don't do you any good. Secondly, the pot from which we all draw from the government Liberia's budget, there are so many competing priorities, and therefore we find it difficult now through our government to see how they should well support the educational system. There's an educational law that requires that 25% of the budget goes towards education. With all those competing priorities, it is very difficult for them to do that. And just recently, we've been telling on those policy makers there's a need to put more funding into education, and while they are doing that, we also need to work very hard to recruit and mobilize those of you who have being trained and educated to come back and join us. Money can be available, but you don't have the human capacity, the money won't do us any good. We need laboratory people, library people, we need people who are gifted in the sciences, in English, to come and help those different high schools. Peace Corps coming back. Beside the Peace Corps, you all who are Liberians who are there, you not far away from retirement. When you retire, come back and join us in Liberia. Nobody can do this for us. You guys who are Liberians there and the privilege to go outside, it is now time to come back and join us so that we correct those things that need us to be corrected.
Sorry that we are facing a technical problem. That's why you can hear the feedback coming to your end too, as we can hear from our end. So we're trying to work on that. Our technician is working on that, and we will be correct that very soon. What are your recommendations? So we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from, let's take caller 2582. Your name and where you calling from?
Yes, my name is DeCalmo Riggs, calling from the Maryland area. So the thing I got, let me start with recommendations first. I heard you speak about library. Currently in America, they got something called visual library. Visual library meaning you can pay X amount of dollars to these companies, provider, and they give you a whole library that can give you millions of books. So in that case, your student only need internet access. That could be very helpful for the university right now because you don't have millions to erect libraries all over the place or even on campus. So you can look into visual library. And another thing has to do with the mass failure. This is going to be like a comment. I mean, just using America as a baseline, I think the university also made an error. I stand to be corrected because in America, it's pretty different. Let's consider the university to be some organization that certifies people into a certain profession. What happens in America is that you give a guideline, because I heard you speaking that the kids got to know stuff from 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. Are you working with the schools to tell them, say, look, honor on an equation, they need to know one variable equation or two variable equation and that kind of thing, and be very exact so that the schools in turn can teach those kids. So they fulfill the school requirement and they also prepare for early exam. Because in America it's different. When you go into the classroom as a teacher, the dean, the school already got everything prepared. If that person got to do some technical certification, they already outsource most of that work out, the consultant out there who measure everything and prepare the test bank. The dean gave you the test bank, the material, the curriculum, how to teach the school. So they're going to fulfill the school requirement and be prepared to take whatever exam after graduation or at the end of the semester. Do you have anything in play like that where you work with the schools around the country to make sure that they're going by X, Y, Z? So at the end of the day, the guys can just go there and know, oh, A squared plus B squared will give you an answer, and know I'm going to see algebraic expression, I'm going to see multiplication, and that kind of thing. Do you have that?
High schools in Liberia follow a curriculum produced by the Ministry of Education. It's the same curriculum used for the WIEC test. It's the exact same curriculum material that we are using for the university entrance exams. The University of Liberia, with our hands filled, we are not directly working with those different schools, but the fact that the Ministry of Education has approved curriculum from all our high school system, and we are using that with a large test bank, we are following just what you are describing. But there's going to be the interest of the student to want to perform to the highest limit of their own excellence to prove what you are talking about. If we do that, then there will be a very big difference in how they approach an entrance exam. We're not getting material from somewhere else. There is not college student work that we are giving on the entrance exam, because we know those who are taking the entrance come from high school and they are about to graduate or have graduated from high schools. And so it's the basic curriculum used for high school to take the WIEC exam and to graduate from high school that we are using. And that is established because all the schools must follow the curriculum produced by the Ministry of Education in Liberia. I think there's a tendency for most of us nowadays to play a little laissez-faire attitude on public exam, having in mind because of the perception in the past, I don't have to study very well. I know if I know somebody there or I guess 150 or so, I can bribe somebody to bribe my way through to the university. And that's what we are struggling with. Why I say with the same curriculum, people go to the WIEC, and in the whole country, there's nobody for Division 1. It's not a different curriculum they are using, but it's the standard that has been set by the Ministry of Education and the university that they must prepare to do. There are students. There are diamonds among those students who can get there. Only 100, for example, in Division 2. There's a threshold that is being set. And if we don't meet the threshold, then it's a struggle between the student's own interest vis-a-vis the curriculum and the institution, the Republic of Liberia. And that is what we are going to deal with. There will be an educational forum that will be established by the government for all of us to talk how best we can find new common grounds leading towards the WIEC and also to the university entrance examination and how we can improve the system. But already there is a benchmark that we are using based on the established curriculum for our high schools, and the test bank is using that particular curriculum. It is not something that is difficult for them, but I believe that most of them play lip service or the laissez-faire attitude to the public exams.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters. With us, joining us from Liberia, is Dr. Julius Nelson, Vice President, Dean of Student Affairs of the University of Liberia. Kodot, I know you gave a recommendation earlier, but I'm going to ask you to give you one more because you gave your recommendations. Do you have a recommendation?
Okay, here's my recommendation, Mr. Dean. What you need to do, you need to work with the school, okay? That stuff has to be updated, okay? Because following the curriculum is just one thing. Because when school gives you that thing, they tell you something and say, look, use your discretion. You may cover this topic, you may not, but the objective is what I'm pointing at. So if the objectives say, look, this part here is pertaining to early entrance, it's a must, then the teacher must cover that. Because sometimes it's optional. Okay, because I see that here in colleges. They say, well, you can just came through that and just leave it. So you guys need to partner with the high schools and just don't sit there and say, well, you got to pass my exam, which is wrong. So I think the university is at fault, and you guys must accept that you did not do well to really communicate the information to the various high schools. So that's one thing you need to look at. Year after that, look, we need to engage the high schools on a not monthly, but probably quarterly basis, because you may change stuff on your exam. So they need to be updated. I hope you would take that to your boardroom and you guys can discuss that. But I think the university must engage the high schools, and we'll see the turnaround in the results.
So are you trying to...
Well, that would be right to say what you are saying. We will try our best. The university system have a lot of work to do, and if we're going to add working with all the high schools in the Republic, we'll be giving ourselves too much to do. That is why I'm inviting some of you to come and join us and be in Kepamas, be in Zwedru, be in Vonjiman, and help to the educational sector. What we can easily do is work with the Ministry of Education and WAEC to keep reminding our students that what you find on the university entry exam are basic mathematics from your 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. What you found in the English test will be basic grammar, parts of speech, and all of that, phonics, how to break out letters, and that's the best we can do. We will be lying to you that we have the capacity to work with all the high schools in the Republic to prepare them for the university entry exam. That is not our responsibility. We will leave that with the Ministry of Education and those who are responsible for the educational sector. We'll prepare them when they come in that process. But that is why there's a whole joint effort now to have an educational forum that we can discuss these different possibilities and move forward. If you believe that we are responsible because we didn't go to the different high schools, then that judgment from our end is not the best conclusion we can reach. The fact that we are dealing with high school students who come from the approved curriculum of the Ministry of Education, using 10th, 11th, and 12th grade work in their English and mathematics, using a scale that gave you all A, B, C, D that you choose from. And if they can't do that and you think the university responsible, then our own judgment differs from the fact that we are on the ground, we know what we are saying, and you are seeing it from a distance. And I believe that the Ministry of Education, looking at all the different information we have, and those who have been doing public tests from the WAEC will give you a whole different explanation as to why students are not making the best progress on those public exams.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. I don't think this issue should be shaped on the University of Liberia, because many of the students, actually, you have to maybe look at where they started from the elementary days up to going to the university. So we have to look at it from a different perspective. Dr. Nelson, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from quarter 4380. Your name and where you're calling from.
Good afternoon. Dr. Nelson, thank you for your service. I'm Bill Ponder. I'm calling from Boston, Massachusetts. I want to preface my discussion here and the question I will ask with regard to the nearly 25,000 students that took the exam, to first congratulate the university for setting some standards, or to go back to those standards when we were students at a university. And maybe it's a wake-up call to the educational system below the university level to try to raise its expectation if we want our students to be college educated. Having said that, when I read in the New Guardian that nobody passed, unprecedentedly the entrance into the university, the first thing that struck my mind was, you can look at it on both ways. You can look at it as demeaning to the country. You can look at it as, well, we're beginning to be serious and critical about our educational standards. Either way, there's an argument to be made. But I was taken aback by the fact that after the university came out with its decision of zero admittance, having set the goals earlier before the administration of the exam, the president of the Republic of Liberia visited the university after Dr. Ketawe spoke on BBC Focus on Africa and said the university was going to be very serious about the standards. They will not compromise those standards. I thought, you were going to hold to your zero admittance. We came to find out that you compromised based on the visitation of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to the university and revised the goals and standards for admission for an exam that you had already had predetermined articulated goals for. I think if I were an administrator at a university, the only other recourse would be to cancel the exam, set new goals and standards, articulate those goals and standards so the students who will be taking the exam know what the standards are and re-administer the exam. To try to go and compromise the standards after you have placed such high standards, and I would congratulate you for that, to come back and after the students have failed, compromise those goals. The whole world knows that that's what happened. It's in the Guardian, it's on BBC, it's whatever. It shows a lack of integrity in the system. I know you're trying to do well, but it really shows that. You people should have entered the exam and re-administer the exam with the new standards that you set after those students flunked the exam. That's my first part. Can you address that? And then I have
I can do it. The first thing to clarify, it is not true that we changed our position after the visit of the president to the university. That particular information is faulty. We declared long before that based on what the faculty senate set for the past 5 years to be the threshold of 50 in mathematics and 70 in English, it was the same faculty senate that met in their discussion and said for this time around we will go from 50 to 40% in mathematics and from 70 to 50, and that will be the only yard benchmark or threshold that we'll use. And using that threshold of 40 in math and 50 in English, we got 1,600 students plus. We made that decision, and now that decision, the president came, we did not change our decision. So it is not true that we changed our decision after the visit of the president. When the president visited us, we told us what we did, the yardstick we used, and she just called on all of us into work together so that we would straighten the educational sector in Liberia. So that our decision to get the 1,600 students was not made because the president visited the university. That information is false, misleading, and far away from the truth.
Okay. Having said that, the international community, the Guardian, I'm looking at the Guardian here before me, it says in quotation that...
Scott, can you give Dr. Nelson your recommendation? We have a lot of people waiting in the queue, please.
Okay, I will make my recommendation, but I just want to clearly state that I have media information here that says Ellen Johnson Sirleaf forced the university authorities. So you guys need to correct that information. My recommendation to you then is that you talk about the high schools need to have standards to get admitted. I think what you could do to help the high schools out is come up with a syllabus, a testing syllabus that could help at the high school level, the teachers there to train those students in taking these exams. If you have certain questions that were used in the past, you could use those as a benchmark set of testing questions that you can make available on a high school level to get those done. The last recommendation is recruitment. If you want to recruit people from the state, you have to come here, or maybe get a recruiting company here in America, pay them Your president used to be here. He knows how to do it. Get a recruiting company, pay them to people apply there, people meet the requirements, and they recommend them to you to teach. And you know, so I mean that would be a good way of looking at recruitment. Thank you.
Well, we could also appeal to all of you to see how best, without we doing that, the resources that we have, if we have to take some of those resources to use that to recruit you to come back to your own country, not be doing justice to our own country. So we want to just appeal to those of you who have interest in the educational sector. If you believe you have done your service where you are and it's not time to contribute as a patriot or a nationalist to your country, please come and join us. We don't need any company to help us do that. We can appeal to you directly, and if you so wish, you can come back home and join us in this exercise. There's no need for us to go to a recruiting company to help us to bring you back home. Those of you who can make it, come. The opportunities are here, and you can do that. From the university, several community colleges, private university, you can contribute to the educational sector and see how best we can rebuild our educational sector. Nobody will do it for us. So it's one way to give you a recommendation. I'm taking note of your recommendation, but it's another thing to see, make the decision, come back home. Let all the people that made a decision to come back home to join us in restructuring the educational sector.
I know, Dr. Nelson, you have talked about people should come home before we take the next call. I want to look at this. What is the minimum, what is the least salary set aside for individual with master who would like to, who maybe from the diaspora, let's say a person from the diaspora who wants to come home and do a contribution? What would be the minimum salary for that person with a master degree?
Well, at the university, it is based on your rank. If you are a full professor, we are hoping to give you about $1,500 to $1,600 in Liberian dollars, and 15% of that will come to you as allowance every month towards the exercise. So if you are a full professor, an associate professor, an assistant professor, and an instructor, that will determine what salary level you will be finding yourself in. But those who end up with a master degree will find themselves, after teaching in school with a more than 5-year experience, you will start with an assistant professor, and that will put you in a category between 1,100 or 1,200 equivalent in Liberian dollars.
Thank you.
And you will see that in the context that 5 years ago, a professor at the university was making $90 per month. And 5 years later, we're talking about a professor making $1,500 to $1,600. So there's a sharp difference in that process. That is why we are saying we can't pay you the way you are paid in the U.S. We're going to pay you based on Liberian standard. And therefore, the decision to come to Liberia to help us has to be made through a commitment as a person who wants to give back to Liberia, than saying that we should pay you for what you are being paid there on the other side. It will be difficult.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Nelson. Dr. Nelson, we're going to take our next call. Our next call will come from caller 8672. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Jacob Boy. I'm calling from Minnesota. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for taking my question, and thank you, Dr. Nelson, for also being on the show. I've listened to most of the earlier caller complaining about the educational system in Liberia, and one of them questions, Dr. Nelson said that we should not look at the massive failure in the examination as a disgrace. Like somebody said, we can call it whatever it is. It doesn't look good either. I mean, the assumption that the LU entrance is based on the curriculum of the Ministry of Education, there's some problem with that assumption, because the assumption is that the educational, the teachers and all the very people that prepare the kids up to that level will teach them accordingly, and we all know that it's not the case. I heard from people that are sponsoring Liberia that always say either comply or you complain, which means you either bribe the teacher or you will fail, and all of those stuff. So, I mean, if people are prepared or just buy their way through up to that level, you don't expect, regardless of what the standard is at LU, you don't expect them to pass. So, but like you said, you have to work through with the system, not let the people get to that level, I mean, of the education, or to enter secondary education before you find out that actually they are not the kind of material that's supposed to go to secondary education. So my question to you is, I mean, what can we do? I mean, Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing you're asking some of us to come back on to come here. We suppose some of us look forward to that day eventually. But until, I mean, you can get the help you want. You still have the task of educating the people that before you right now. So what can you do? I mean, we don't want next year to have this same story, and excuses will keep coming. So, I mean, I'm thinking with your capability and your position, you have the power or the technical know-how to better the situation. But I don't think you will keep on making excuses and all of this stuff. So what do you think you're going to do the next to maybe better the situation, if you can?
The first thing is that we're not giving you excuses. Your interpretation, we call it excuses. We get telling you the fact of what is happening here. And you guys may be calling it that we're giving you excuses, but that is not our interpretation. Secondly, if you are sponsoring students who tell you that they either comply or do what, you should stop sponsoring them because you are contributing to the system that is bankrupting our educational sector. Anybody you are sponsoring who cannot pass and tell you to give them money so that they will pay to the instructor or bribe their way through is not doing justice to our educational system. So you should stop sponsoring people that want to comply if they can study very well. That would be my next suggestion or recommendation to you. Added upon that, we got no excuses. The university have a threshold to pass. If you don't meet that threshold, you will not enter the university. Those of you that believe that the only way you get through is to bribe your way through, we are making you shame and say that's not the best way through. We will work with the Ministry of Education, other educational stakeholders. The government of Liberia will be calling an educational forum. We will always discuss it and find ways and means to strengthen that process. But when you are at a university, when you're giving an entrance exam for high school students, you use material they get from the 10, 11, and 12th grade. And that's what we are doing. Don't got to give anybody any excuse. People fail, they fail. 25,000 plus in all the exams that we give. We give exams for undergraduates, for the law school, for the medical school, for the school of pharmacy, and graduate programs. And so we use a business center for graduate school. We use material that come from college level. For undergraduate, we will use material that come from high schools. And we got no reason to apologize or give excuses to anybody. Those students that you are sponsoring, let them go and study hard. If they study hard, they are the top in their class. When they come to university entrance exam, they will be successful. Public exam is public exam. And it's a basic rule that you follow in that process. So we are not giving excuses. Those who believe they want to term that as excuses, well, might be looking at different things in their interpretation of what we are doing. But we're not giving any excuses. We say there's a challenge, the Liberian educational sector. Those who are coming from elementary school to junior high school and secondary schools, if they are not prepared well, why should you expect them to do well on university entrance exam? If in the whole country we are doing WAEC, while our West African neighbors are doing something else, and we can get one person in the whole country for Division 1 in WAEC and only 100 for Division 2, then you believe that we are giving excuses? No, we are not giving excuses. Our students need to study hard, burn the midnight candle, and be able to perform to the highest level of academic excellence to be successful in public exams. We got to give anybody any excuse for the failure of those students on the exams.
Dr. Nelson, Carter, do you have a recommendation for Dr. Nelson?
Yeah, I have my recommendation, and before that, I just want to clarify something. Well, my earlier comment about comply or complain was something some of these students told me, but for the record, I'm one of those principal people. If you can't study, like the doctor said, I'd rather you complain because I'd rather pay for your grade instead of you sitting home instead of going to school and me paying for your grade. So I never support anybody who try to bribe me into paying grade. Like one of my brothers told me that he had to pay a flexibility fee for wire. I told him, say, you can take that wire 10 times if you want. I'm not paying no flexibility fee. And fortunately for him, he made it through the wire. So just for the record. And my recommendation to you about I think we all come to after you guys said that much of a good of a standard and experience that failure is, I don't know what's the rationale. I understand that you have to have people admitted to the university, so those are maybe part of the reason why you lower the standard and stuff like that. But Liberians have to understand that if you really know your stuff, you don't have to worry about getting jobs in Liberia. In the kind of global economy we live in, you are not confined to finding a job in Liberia if you really know what you think you know. If you have the tests now internationally, you can take online, apply for jobs internationally and all of those stuff. But If you can't pass a Liberia national exam or WIAC or university exam, the possibility of you even passing the higher level education will be very slim. So maybe, the next time don't corrupt the score. Just keep it like the way it is. If you got nobody admitted to the university, keep it that way. I mean, the next year, probably more people will study to be serious about, secondary education. It's not cheap, and it should not be taken for granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Nelson, there's something that we got a lot of text messages here, but we're going to take one. We have about 25. This one comes from Sarah. It has to do with the text message is that she thinks that part of it has to do with Mark's failure has to do with the fact that the country there's no electricity. Many of the guys have to go out to find meal for their family, and then when they get home, they have limited time to even study because there's no electricity in the country. Do you agree with her, or you think that is just an extra thing?
I think it's a big generalization that we should not accept. There is electricity in the country at different levels. People using generator. There are public electricity around that people are buying from or so. But that should not be. Those who go to school and are very serious, they are good students in Liberia who born and made their canoe, use canoe and study very hard. Some of them use electricity. There are people with electricity who are failing different exams. So it's not an issue of electricity. If you are a student, if there's no electricity, you study early in the day. So when darkness comes, you have studied already. So that should not be the generalization to say that's the reason why students are failing.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Sarwolo, Vice President for Student Affairs, Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Liberia. Dr. Nelson, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from caller 6593. Your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you very much. This Eugene Sharif calling from New Jersey.
Welcome to the show, Sharif.
Thank you very much. Dr. Nelson, how you doing? This Eugene here. Eugene, the chairman for the 2007 graduates for the University of Liberia.
Okay.
Yeah, Henry B. Saki, Tusi, Nyane. Okay, it is Eugene here.
Yep. Good to hear from you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to know some of the problems that are already facing the university, because I will come up with my recommendation. But at the university itself, because what we are discussing right now about massive failure from the Liberia high school, that is not really the problem of the university. It's just that the university set a benchmark that you have to cross this. So that is a boost to the university, because over the years we have been hearing a whole lot of stuff about the university. The university is just come, let's hurry up, come, let's graduate. At least this is a standard set. So all of the noise that we are causing around here is supposed to be the high schools. That's what will go to the high school, not the university. So my concern right now has to do with the problem that the university is faced with the student population in the university. It has to do with school buses, carrying students for for their classes in Fennel, and what are some of the problem the faculty senate and that of the student. And if there's any problem, what are some of the possible way that I think students trying to find a way easier through the faculty senate, that there can be no more chaos or confusion on our campus, if there's any.
Well, thank you so much. You are a recent graduate of the university. When we moved 2 other colleges to the Finder campus of the University of Liberia, that increased the commuting students at the Finder campus from about 7,000 to 21,000. Now we have the College of Science and Technology, the Agriculture College, the Social Science and Humanities, and the Teachers College, all there at the Finder campus. And every week we have to commute over 21,000 students. That is one of our biggest difficulties. We rely on the NTA and those who have buses in Monrovia that we rent from to ensure that we get our students there. That is a major problem that we are still dealing with, and that will be helpful. Another area is faculty development. We've been able to send a lot of young graduates to further studies, hoping that they will come back in the next 2 to 3 years to join the increase or improve the faculty profile at the University of Liberia. The issue of our laboratories is also a major concern. Right now, we are searching for a library guru that can help us to set up the university library system as the 21st century library process. We can't find that person. We're still working hard on doing that. So those are different areas. Added upon all of this is the fact that what we need to run the university, we're not getting all the support we need to get. We understand the reason why, but that is just the reality that we have to deal with. 65% of the university budget comes from government subsidy. So when that don't come through 100%, we have some problem to deal with. And so we will get those challenges. We were opening the St. J. Vocational and Technical College in Grand Cape, Mark County, having that campus, the Fender campus, and then the Capitol Hill campus, plus the medical campus is an expanded operation that we don't have the resources to then do that to the effective level with which we can do it to. But we got to make the adjustment, keep managing on what we have until we get to the point where we get the kind of resources we need to improve on the system that we have to deal with. But those of us who are on the ground now are doing our best to manage the system. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dr. Nelson. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, and we're hoping that in the not too distant future, we will cross the question of the buses. The government of Liberia is giving us support more than what they did past 5-10 years ago. It just so happened that support can match the kind of operation we have to deal with. We got 34,000 students in the University of Liberia. Our faculty staff, if you look at that, and the operating 4 campuses at a major level is not easy. But we also understand that the government of Liberia have to deal with computing priorities, and they are giving to the university what they can give now, and we'll be managing with that. But it will be good. It will find a lot of scholarship for our students, because there are a lot of smart students at the university, but they don't have the necessary support to be in school. So we've been challenging them. Those of you who are financially poor, be intellectually rich, and you'll find scholarship all over the place. Scholarship will run beyond those students who are the diamonds that we have, and that's what we're dealing with now at the University of Liberia.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. Cora, do you have a recommendation here?
Yeah, I have a recommendation. With that said, Dr. Nelson, I would like to commend you for your preferment. You guys are really trying your possible best for the university, because the University of Liberia, some of us, is our alma mater. No matter what the situation is, that's the place where we've got our first degree from, so we always remain committed and whatsoever attentive to that university. Because the high school situation, I would like to recommend, because I think one of the colleagues said that at least people should try to University of Liberia, should post men around. I mean, the thing is, the Ministry of Education already come out with a guideline, with a curriculum that the high schools in Liberia had to go by. So if they can't go by that, the University of Liberia, before, it's like a gate, right? Okay, before you cross this gate, you have to meet up with certain demand. And so if the people cannot meet up with the demands, I mean, they can't enter the university. There should be some standard for the university. What about the high school that the number one high school that people used to look at during those days, like CWA? You have people from how they call the other school of Broad Street there. What is school? I forget about the school's name. They have SDA. They have Tottenham High. I mean, these students from different kinds of different institutions, and they couldn't pass the University of Liberia entrance. So that means there's a serious problem. See, so there's a serious problem of the educational system in Liberia. So, Mr. Nelson, you guys are doing very well in that place. Thank God that the the president of the university there, Mr. Emmett Dennis, he was once in my school here, Record University. So I think he's doing well over there, and I think you guys, every one of you people over there, trying to buttress his effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you. You're welcome, Eugene.
Yeah.
Dr. Nelson, it's almost 5 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock your time, and we have a lot of posted calling. So please let us know whenever you think you're okay with the time you spend with us this far.
When I go off again, then I will be
so we can talk until I go off.
But we don't want you to leave without giving us a closing statement here, so we're going to keep your line and keep watching your line when it's close to the time, and then we'll let you know so you can give us a closing argument here. So
that would be good.
The next caller will be 6949. Your name and where you calling from? 6949. Are you with us?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yep. My name is Gonla Padolo. I'm calling from Delaware.
Welcome to the show. Dr. Nelson is with us. He's joining us from Liberia. We have to wrap it up because he's close to getting out of the line here.
I'm very fast. Dr. Nelson, how you doing? And first of all, I would first of all like to extend my thanks and appreciation to you for this hard time that you're going through, and we're just making you to talk. But my first question to you is how the educational matter. The reason I ask you this question is that you are encouraging us to come home. Will you go to the president and look in your face and say, accept dual citizenship that will help to repair our education standard?
Okay. Well, that's a different discussion.
Well,
there are advantages and disadvantages.
We agree because you are looking for us to come. And we got problem there, and our problem, we are not accepted in the society because we hold 2 passports. That's the reason. But it's not important. Like I said from the get-go, it's not part of your domain, but those are some of the recommendations would like to make in the future, you know. Well, my question, what I would like to say here is that the entire education system in Liberia is down. You don't want to hear that, you will hear it. And the University of Liberia, you guys are doing pretty well. The problem is with the high school. I went to school, I did not see Bernie Burn, I did not see microscope and all those things like you're talking. Until the education minister can start doing better work, and you guys will perform. And let's assume, suppose 25,000 of those students are going to pass the government exam. Can you accommodate them? Thank you.
If 25,000 pass our entrance exam and they get that they are admitted, we'll be able to work along with them. But that will be a whole different discussion we'll be having at that time or so. The capacity of the university, thank God for the community colleges that are coming up. Before this community college, it was a big pressure on the University of Liberia to accept students as we move forward. Now, these community colleges are opportunities that will be helping students from different counties who can remain in their counties, go to the community colleges and prepare themselves before transferring to the university. And at that time, there will be another benchmark that will be set as you come from community colleges to enter the university with the associate degree from the community college. But we find ourselves where we find ourselves now. Now we thought right now from all the different analysis or assessment, the University of Liberia should be having about 18 to 20,000 students maximum. We are now at 34,000. We are managing. We got far way to go, but we know we can do our best as we move along or so. And we believe that the opening of several community colleges in each county will be a major help. But I also know that those community colleges will be looking for faculty members who can help them in that process. That's the reason why we are encouraging all of us in the educational sector that if you are at that point where you are ready to return home, come and join us in the educational sector. All of us can contribute. We will now find people from other planets to help us to change the educational sector. If it is down, we got to lift it up. And if we can lift it up, we need the hands of everybody on board to lift the educational sector up. We believe that we are making progress. We're not where we used to be, but we're not where we ought to be. So that is why we are encouraging all of you, make that decision. Come and join us. It will not all be rosy and everything, but at least with your effort and our effort, the process will be faster than it is now.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. We got 9 more minutes for you here, according to your time here with us. So please try to condense it, so maybe you can take a few more before you give us your closing statement. Cora, we're giving you 30 seconds for your recommendation, please.
All right, thank you, Dar. I appreciate it. But what I would like to talk to you, while you are campaigning for us to come home to help, please look in the president's face. Say, Madam President, let us talk to those in the legislature, let them accept dual citizenship. When dual citizenship is accepted in the Republic of Liberia, we will have the best education. Thank you, and God bless you, and take the message to your president or to the legislature, more especially to the legislator from Maryland County. I don't like to see dual citizenship.
actually that Senator Dan Moraes is actually on board for those of you who are supporting dual citizenship. Go to Liberia Destiny Debaters and you'll be able to listen to him. We hosted Senator Dan Moraes. It's online at www.liberiadestinydebaters. And this program will be online by next week. Dr. Nelson, you will be able to listen to your own recording here by next week. Just go visit our site. You will be able to listen to the recording from our end here. So, Dr. Nelson, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from caller 4701. Your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, my brother.
Yes, this is Elder Gabriel L. Johnson III, pastor of Emgo Church, and Pikeville, North Carolina. I am a Liberian who has consistently lived in the United States for nearly 26 years. And I follow closely the situation in Liberia, particularly the recent mass failure. If I may piggyback on the previous caller from Boston with respect to the standard set, I want to first of all congratulate the university and through you on Dr. Nelson. I think that it was a bold move, and I think that the university faculty senate should have maintained the position to maintain the standard that was established and have those students retake the entrance exam as opposed to reducing the standard that was set. Also, one of the reasons why I follow this closely is because it's in my blood. My great-grandfather, Dr. P.O. DeSumo Johnson, and I was hoping Dr. what's his name? Mike Farland was here because he now has the division that my grandfather formed in 1950, I think 56 or so. And Dr. Johnson spent most of his life at the University of Liberia when it was Liberian College, matter of fact. So I've watched closely the situation deteriorate in Liberia, and when I look back on his vision for education in Liberia. Also,
could you try to, do you have a question or recommendation, because the doctor is Dr. Nelson is running all the time here, please.
Certainly. The question is, why is the Ministry of Education and Higher Education not as engaged with the University of Liberia in eliminating this issue from the educational sector before it gets up to the university level? And Dr. Nelson, I think you're being a little bit too defensive about it, when in fact it is not your fault. It is the education sector from the Ministry of Education and the Higher Education Commission. Would you agree?
Thank you. No, I'm not being defensive. I'm just looking at the fact that most often there's a tendency for Liberians beyond the borders to come to conclusions using generalizations or what they are hearing from Liberia without the research to get to know the specific details. And that is what I'm trying to deal with. I've had opportunity to come to the U.S. there, meet with Liberian communities in different areas, and keep reminding them, don't use a generalization. Don't always equate things that are happening in the U.S. to be happening in Liberia. And every time you do that, then you put Liberia, our country, in a comparison that is not correct most often. So I'm not being defensive. I'm just saying the realities on the ground. When you don't see them, when you don't know them, there's a tendency to make generalization or come to conclusion without the necessary information that will help you come to the conclusion.
And if I may interject, you keep saying for Liberians to come home and contribute. I mean, we don't have to come home and contribute full time for precisely the point that the university resources cannot accommodate some of us. I mean, I have 3 college children that I may not be able to transition and neglect my personal responsibility to my God-given responsibility, my children. However, I think that the university system should be engaging with folks and not just saying, you need to come home, you need to come home. You need to open these serious discussions in interdisciplinary areas to attract people to come, even if it's brief sabbatical.
against the university system, but I think you need to take a more proactive role in engaging those in the diaspora as opposed to talking about, just come home. That's not going to do it. We need to have serious discussions to be able to ascertain if, in fact, it is a good fit.
Thank you.
Well,
go ahead, Dr.
We'll
Nelson.
tell you to come home. You are a Liberian. Home is always home. You all need to get to the point in time in your journey, being away and being there. You want to contribute actively to the processes in Liberia. You can't do it from far away. So the request or the appeal to all of you Liberians to come home, we'll always do that because home is home. And if you want to be active and contribute to the changing in the system in Liberia, it is better to do it when you are home. When you're not in the room, it is hard to understand how decisions are made in the room. And that is what I'm encouraging you all to the best of my ability, those of you who are able to come home. Yes, you got a responsibility to your children. Other people do have, but some people came home. Balancing that responsibility with their contribution to the development of their nation, Liberia. And that's just what we are doing. We'll do the best we can do to manage. But before you come to conclusion as to what we are doing here, make sure you get all the facts available before you use generalizations to come to conclusions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Nelson, Vice President, Team of Student Affairs at the University of Liberia. Dr. Nelson, please, we have to condense here. Caller, our next caller is 9394. Your name and where you call it from?
Is that me?
Yes, that's you, 9394.
Oh, 9394. Look, my name is James Bala. I'm calling from Minnesota. And my comment is to Dr. Slevon. Is he available?
No, Dr. Slevon is actually not with us tonight. We are hoping to get him sometime in a week. He's actually back home.
Oh, okay.
There's no network over there, so he couldn't join us.
Okay, let me just make a brief comment here. Education should start at the bottom. It seems to me like we are neglecting primary, early childhood, primary, and secondary education. And as a result, a student can pass, public...
So you got to condense it. Dr. Nelson is going to run out of time in about a few seconds. Yes, we want him to give a closing statement before he leaves, please.
Yeah, Dr. Nelson, can you make comment on that? Because it looks like we are not spending much money.
Just as I told you, Dr. Nelson just ran out of time.
Primary education, secondary education.
As I told you, Dr. Nelson just ran out of minutes on his phone. And he said that he was going to, maybe we can wait for 5 more minutes and see whether he's going to call back. But he's able to understand that he was going to leave because the time that he was scheduled for, he has actually completed that time. So let's give Dr. Nelson a few more minutes and see whether he comes on. If he does, we will continue the process. So for now, the educational system of Liberia is our country. We all have to make our contribution despite the salary for those of you who have master and doctorate degree is not really up to standard. We have to sometimes help to see what best we can do in our weak ways as people who actually love this country. We can just leave it up to certain group of people. We can return home and make a contribution. Maybe if you return to the country, just take a week, spend a week on campus, teach them something, do something on campus. Do not sit there. Let's get involved. Liberia Destiny Debaters can be seen online at www.liberiadestinydebaters.org. So we're going to wait for Dr. Nelson to come on. If he doesn't come on, and we'll try to we are working to bring the president of the University of Liberia on. That is in the process. Dr. Gitawe will be our guest this weekend, along with maybe somebody from the university. Maybe at that time we'll have Dr. Sloan with us. So bear with us. We are working across the line here. So Dr. Nelson is now with us. Let's give him 2 minutes. If he doesn't come on, we'll go ahead and close this program for tonight. So Cora, go ahead and you are staying in line. That's 9592. Go ahead, continue our conversation.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead. What do you think of the educational system we have? Who do you blame here? Who is to be blamed? Students or the government?
Everyone. Everyone.
Okay.
You know, I used to be a teacher in Liberia. I was a primary school teacher, so it looked like the quality of our primary school is not up to date, and we need to improve it. Education should start at the bottom up. We can't just spend money on higher education. I think we need to spend more money on early childhood education, primary and secondary education before we can even think about higher education, college education. And what is happening in Liberia now is to me, it's not the solution to our educational system. There are so many colleges going on bidding in Liberia just to get people out of college, and they are not up to standard. The standard is not there. So we need to focus. We need to put more money from the bottom of our educational system. Early childhood education, primary education, and secondary education before we can even start, putting money in higher education.
I'm so stunned to the fact that nobody even talk about something like looking at the increments. Okay, Dr. Nelson is back with us. Dr. Nelson, thank you again. We appreciate you calling us back. Caller, Dr. Nelson is back with us. Go ahead and finish your conversation with Dr. Nelson.
Yes, Dr. Nelson.
Yes.
Yes, I'm calling from Minnesota. My comment was that, it seems like we are neglecting early childhood education, primary education, and secondary education. As a result, people from high school are not qualifying enough to pass in public tests. So, what do you think about that? Why are we not spending more money on our primary, secondary, early childhood education instead of higher education? Because that is the foundation. That is the foundation of any education, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's true. We need to put time and quality into early childhood, elementary, and secondary education. I think what happened in the first term of the government that is serving now was to first encourage people to get back to school. And after doing that campaign, a lot of people in school, and the numbers are up, but we don't have the balancing fact. We have the appropriate qualified faculty people to teach at the early childhood, elementary, and secondary school level. And therefore, in our discussion on the educational sector that will be coming up, to see how best we deal with having the best qualified people at the early childhood, elementary, and then secondary level, so as to see what happened then at the tertiary level. We need to put resources that will ensure that our early childhood program and our elementary school program are top of whatever we are doing. If we have that kind of strong foundation, it will make it easier for those of them that will be in the secondary schools, and then it will make it easier for those of them that will come to college. And we believe, as I agree with you, that we need to put some energy and time with quality into early childhood, elementary, before we get to the secondary schools.
Cora, do you have a recommendation for Dr. Nelson before we take the next one?
Well, my only recommendation is the government put more money into early childhood education, primary education, and secondary education. Because if we don't do so, we are promoting chaos in our country. We have an educational system that is not worth anything. People will graduate from college and they don't know anything. So let us put more money. Let us put more money in the foundation of our educational system.
Well, we'll improve the system, and we'll do all with resources, financial and human, that will help us do that. But we don't wish that we ever get to the day that people will graduate from colleges and secondary schools knowing nothing. If we ever get to that day, there will be no reason for a country we call Liberia.
Dr. Nelson, I'm so stunned at this moment that nobody has even come up with the topic of investing, paying more, giving more to teachers. Teachers, look at the salary. Look at how much these people make. Do you think somebody's going to go to school hungry and be able to teach somebody very well? These people are not making enough.
The teacher go to school.
They are hungry. These people are hungry. I'm a graduate of G.W. Gibson. I visited Liberia twice. I've been to Liberia twice. And doing two visits, I saw some of the things that I saw that actually I was stunned. That these people have to get involved into things like renting the conference place for them to make money. This is shameful. Let these people make more money. If they don't make money, we are not going to get this thing straightened up. They are hungry. They are hungry. I'm not kidding. I'm serious about this. Instead of us complaining, talking about they went to the university and they failed, let us invest in those who are teaching them. Give them more money so they can spend more time teaching. I don't know whether Dr. Nelson agree with me or not.
Oh, yeah. You see, the whole educational sector, if you talk about having all of those things and those who are the one providing the education for our students, if they are not satisfied, you don't expect them to go and do their best. How will I go to teach at a particular secondary school? I can't get my pay on time, and then my children, I can't pay my own children's school fee or even find food for them. So part of the whole exercise is to see how we treat teachers. It appears as if in most society, including Liberia, if you want to be on the curve below poverty, then you go to teaching. And that philosophy or that concept must be erased. And that's what is happening. Most of those you find in the teaching area in the various counties have to do that as a sacrifice. And we really need to look at that particular situation if we must improve the educational sector in Liberia.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Nelson. Dr. Nelson, let's take the next call. The next caller will be caller 7786. That's Dr. Kula. Dr. Kula, are you with us? It looks like Dr. Kula is just listening. He has a question mark, but he's listening. Let's take the next one. The next one will come from 6377. Your name and where you're calling from?
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Amara Kita. And
how are you, Mr. Kita?
Fine. I'm calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My question goes to Dr. Nelson. First of all, let me say a big thank you and to the University of Liberia for the job well done. Job well done in the sense that what they have done is a complete agreement with what WAYEC recently published, that students of Liberia completely lack the necessary academic qualification to get enrolled at the University of Liberia. And I think all of these things are based on the years of neglect in our educational system, both by the secondary schools as well, and also backed by the university, because the successive university administration actually lower the university standard, thereby graduating more students with degrees to go. I mean, imagine people who are ill-prepared for university going to teach high school students. So these are all combinations. Well, let me say a big thank you. My question is the university really if the university really want to see that the education system is improved? One of the catastrophes that I'm seeing coming to Liberia is this proliferation of community colleges. Imagine students who went to the high school, did not meet the standard to get universities, and these students going back to their community college and get another poorly prepared education and coming to university to complete that system. So my suggestion is we as Liberia Liberia need to do more, as the last caller had just said, to strengthen our pre and also elementary school, going to the middle school as well as the high school, Unless this is done, Liberia is really heading in the wrong direction. The whole question lies with the remuneration. I mean, imagine some individual getting $5,000 a month, while teachers get barely $100. Imagine how unfair it is to live in a society like that. So that's my question. Liberia needs to really rethink about what needs to be done if we need to get it right. Let's look at the question of we try to compare Liberia with America. I mean, when they talk about corruption index, they do compare Liberia with the rest of the world. So let us not lag ourselves behind that whatever we do, why should we compare to other countries, to Liberia? No. I mean, we are living in a global community, and Liberia cannot afford to lag behind. So when we talk about corruption, human rights, we also compare ourselves with the rest of the world. So in education, let us do our best to make sure that we compare ourselves with the rest of the world. That's it. That's my question. So we need to really have a rethink. And the question of going back to Liberia, I mean, a huge number of Liberia in the diaspora have got a problem. The question is he, according to the live somebody said about it, is he actually prepared to go to the president, to go to our legislator? I mean, talk to them that Liberians who are in the diaspora are qualified, but they have some serious problem, which is dual citizenship. That I think if we really need to reform the system has to look at how do we encourage those Liberians who have not because they choose to be citizens of another country. I mean, every day here we are treated, where are you from? Where are you from? I don't care what status you have in other countries, you will still be called, where are you from? And Liberia will tell you Liberia is my home. And now Liberia tells you that you're no longer a Liberian. So we need also to, if we want to have a system really work for us, let's also deal with that as a matter of national urgency. I thank you.
Thank you. That was actually
there will be a different time for a discussion on the dual citizenship. I don't want to mix that up with our discussion now on education. There are disadvantages and advantages for dual citizenship, and that is why you have a divide in Liberia as to what to do with the issue of dual citizenship. To become a citizen of another country, they tell us that you deny the first citizenship that you have, and to deny that and want to have both of them at the same time, that is a problem that we have to deal with, and tell you there is a clearer understanding by the people who are in Liberia making the policy that will still be a divide as to what to do. And so that would be a different discussion at the appropriate time. I agree with you. We need to work together in the educational sector to improve early childhood, elementary, secondary education in that light. There need to be investment in those who are teaching in the different colleges or secondary schools in Liberia to improve that. So the question of the community colleges, I know people see it from a different perspective, but the amount of pressure that was on the university in the absence of those community colleges is reducing now. That is the reason why that led to private institutions coming up. The community colleges will be helping us, and for those community college graduates to enter the university, there will be a different threshold that will be set. Right now, we are discussing that you come to community colleges with an associate degree, you need to have a BRH to come to the University of Liberia. When we conclude those different packaging and setting a threshold to the Association of Liberian University, that will be known to everybody to say, as you come from the community college, you need this kind of RH or this kind of threshold to then enter the University of Liberia. But we are not at that point yet. We believe that all of us need to work together in the educational sector to define where we want to go, where we are, define those goals and objectives, and we believe if we work hard together, we can then find a better result to improve our educational sector in Liberia.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. We can see Mr. Colley, you are online. You are next in line here, so let's take the next one. The next one will come from caller 1373. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, D-Flow, thank you for taking my call. This is Seyon Yawna calling from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
Welcome to the show again tonight.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for having a very serious topic tonight. And let me say, in many words, hi to the Honorable Dr. Nelson, your guest tonight. I wanted to comment on a few things. First, let me say, let us be very mindful not of thinking that every Liberian who has master's degree or above, is a teacher. I don't think we'll be doing fair to ourselves. In my view, teaching should not only be a profession, but it is a way of life. People who teach should love the act of teaching. It's not because Mr. Nelson has a doctorate degree or D-Flow has a master's degree, so he is a teacher. I don't think so. So we should be mindful how we ask Liberians to go back home, how we intend to recruit Liberians to go back home. If Liberians going back home, I think the teaching field should not be the only area of focus. But we should encourage and recruit teachers or people who are willing to teach, who love to teach. That will help improve our school system. But let me close by saying, when I heard the Minister of Education describing the mass failure of Liberian court as mass murder, and then the President in her own words saying, quote, the education system is a mess, it makes me to wonder, what kind of classroom environment are we creating for our students? So, Dr. Nelson, let me ask you, in your capacity as a Liberian professional and somebody in the educational system, be it at the university or the school system as a whole, what kind of classroom environment are you all providing for our students? Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. Let me make it clear that the discussion tonight was on education, and that is why our reference to invite people to come home was focusing on the educational sector. Those of you in the educational sector that have the passion to teach, if you make the decision to come home, the opportunity to be in the tertiary institution or secondary institution are available. When it comes to other sectors of the republic, of our country, that discussion will happen on other programs that will come over tonight. They focus on the educational sector. And so that information to say, come and join us, we're focusing strictly on those of you in the educational sector that have the ability, the capacity, the skills, and the passion to teach. Additionally, the comment of the educational minister and that of the president, all of that will lead to what we're looking forward to the future, an educational forum to look at the challenges we find ourselves with the educational sector, where we are, where we want to go, and how we deal with the challenges and find the appropriate solutions to solve the problem in our educational sector. When you come to that logistic, human capacity, question of laboratories, library, the question of the teachers and their own payment and their benefits, all of those will come on the table. And when they get on the table, from that discussion, we will then be able to see where we go from there. But we'll be inviting all of your own input into that discussion when the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Education, called that forum to contribute your own quota to see how best we can solve this problem on the Liberian educational sector.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. Cora, do you have a recommendation for Dr. Nelson?
Yeah, definitely. Given my experience working with the ICU School District as one of the community members here in 2010, when we were called to provide advice to the school district, 50 professionals, one of the focuses I had was classroom environment. I will only hope that when you all go back, as we discuss the educational system, please, we should consider very seriously the environment, meaning the classroom itself, the structure, what is in the classroom, how teachers are being paid, what mannerisms. All of these things help to improve education system. It's not just the grade, but what contributes to the grades. So please look at that, the classroom environment.
Thank you so much. I've noted that already.
Thank you. Our next caller is caller 0853. Your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Plama Callis. I want to ask you, or I just forgot, is it the Minister of Education or the Chancellor of University?
Dr. Julius Nelson, Vice President, Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Liberia.
Oh, thank you. Welcome, Dean, and it's a pleasure to have you today. I'm just going to run through real quick. First question I've been trying to internalize the entire university issue which I highlighted much of the discussion in Liberia. We know all human beings, first of all, I wanted to jump to the conclusion, and I'm still trying to look around that conclusion and say, look, the University of Liberia, I'm just questioning, Pope wasn't trying to impress the Liberian people of how much you guys are working hard. Because I was thinking that you guys set the standard just too hard. Because in my wildest dream, trust me, you have students from Liberia that right now are capable of going to Harvard University and be very good. You got natural presidents from Liberia. And I'm saying this from the fact that much as our education system is broken, I agree. It's tough. Being factored by the fact that the long war crippled it. We were already struggling. Then we had a huge war that came and just took everything off the wheels, took the wheels off. But 25,000 students start the national exam and start the university exam in the off field. I think if the university instructors and professors are fit for university fit for standardized examination, I think half of them will fail too. I want to think so. Because I'm no stranger to our education system. I graduated from University of Liberia. I can remember when the university exam leaked in 1984. The authorities decided that every student in and out of Liberia that were interested in being enrolled should sit exam in Monrovia. And we all left for the local grandchildren everywhere and sat for that exam. Well, like 4,000 and some more who started the exam. 4,000. And then only 400 of passed. We saw huge failures in there. We saw how much, why it meant to us that the entire system was fraud. But leaving that aside, so 25,000 students will need to do some research, and I give you that as a challenge. But I'm also looking at the quality of instructors we have at University of Liberia. My question to you is, when the last time one of your instructors or professors when it came out any kind of research or either technical or academic issues that are facing Liberia? Because I'm not seeing one of your professors come out with any kind of research paper. And then I'm looking at our library where I'm looking at what you guys are offering. Even let's forget about the high school because it trickles down. So you guys at LU, you can teach in a high school in Liberia. That's a standard. So if the university is like a question, and tell me, now to close down, look at you have a graduate program at the University of Liberia. The question I have for you is that what is the quality of instructorship or professors you have that are first of all handling the graduate program at the University of Liberia? How many PhD do you have? How many research papers, technical as academic, that these master's degree professors or PhD are teaching? That's my question. Definitely we can come down to the elementary, the primary, but first of all, let's look at the head. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Coming to conclusions, as I said before, with your own research, you are asking us that none of the professors have done any research work. It suggests to me that you have not done your research. That's a starting point. For a university to have a graduate program or what we got PhD holders on that level, you need to do the research. Do the research and find out what the current faculty profile of the university is. Check the information you can gather. When you have done all of that, then you can come to the conclusion. But I don't believe you have done that to this particular point. We now where we ought to be. We will keep improving the system. We have more than 60 graduates of the university who are all over the world preparing to join us at the university in post-graduate education and postgraduate education. They will return. In recent time, we have people come from all over different places with graduate degrees and postgraduate degrees who are serving at the University of Liberia. But if the information you are using comes from the 1980s, then you are 20 years beyond schedule. And we are moving forward to see how best we can have our faculty development program continue. Just in the past 6 weeks, we had 13 persons from the university going for further studies into graduate and postgraduate degrees. We are making those progress. But to come to a conclusion like that without a specific research about the current realities is not the best way to look at the University of Liberia. Yes, there are shortcomings, but don't use our shortcomings as a generalization
to describe the nation's premier institution of higher learning. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Do you have a recommendation for that?
Oh, sure, yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I listened to you, sir, but you didn't really answer my question. You see, I'm looking 20 years back. You got to be sorry, sir, because I'm looking right into right now. I can't live. People who stay in Morovia look at the future right now because our access to what? The World Wide Web is helping to learn a lot. But you have not answered my question. If you see I'm still 20 years back, could you tell me one recent article or research paper that has been authored by one of your professors? That's all my question I asked you. I'm not 20 years back. But just tell the listening public, look, there's a research paper or technical paper that has been authored by one of our professors. I will ask you, just answer that question so that when I ask you, you didn't answer the question. You just say, they're coming from they're coming from all around the world. We're saying, I say, right now, please tell me whether 2 years ago or right now or what. Tell me who authored one research paper. What will you tell us, sir?
Professor Jigwe A. Jigwe from the Dean of the Business College. Check for that in a review of economics and development. You'll find out, there are a lot of people in conflict resolution. Professor Debbie Sunday, there are a lot of papers that are available. So I think
what is the name of the paper? What is the name of the paper you said?
No, I say check on. We can't do the
you should be specific. You should be up to date on looking at this. You should be like you see with
Mr. Colley, please. He's trying to. The doctor is trying to give you the information he asked you for. He said Jigwe. So Professor.
Yeah, I said what's the paper? What's the title of that paper? That's the question. I said because at the level you should look. Yeah, we are working on this right now. We just came up with this. I mean, right now we are researching this because we're interested in finding out this. That's what I expected. I want to know. I mean, I'm not forcing it. I just want to know what the Jigwe wrote about. I mean, those things are what I want to know. I mean, that's what I want to know. Because that's a premier university. We should be innovating research. So what are research people you got? When I'm not the one who call research people, I'm not as professors to improve the education system. I'm going to call and what are people you guys have authored? That's what I want to know. That's a challenge for you guys.
Well, say you want to know and you don't want to listen to what I'm saying, then I will defer that particular question to respond to it.
Thank you.
Well, you can choose to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Doctor, we're going to take two more, and then we'll give you the time for you to give us.
I'm going to watch the time before we call up again.
Yes, I'm watching it very carefully. The next caller we have is caller 3878. Sorry, your name and where you call it from. Your last number is 3878. That's Stanley Seyon.
Stanley Seyon, Rochester, Minnesota.
Welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters. Professor and Dr. Nelson is joining us from Liberia tonight.
Thank you.
Do you have a question for Dr. Nelson?
I just joined, so can I be pushed to the next one?
Sure, we can do that. Okay, we're going to take the next one here. This is probably saying you want to be the next one. You most likely will not get it line tonight. So, quarter 5158, your name and where you calling from?
My name is Cecilia Hippie.
Welcome.
I've been listening. Thank you. I've been listening to the professor. I really don't have any question tonight. I'm a little bit concerned about the education system in Liberia, and with everything that happened with the students failing, what is the government doing to help from elementary school to high school? Because if they are not having a basic education, how can they take an entrance exam and pass it at a university level? Are you guys checking into things that you can help the elementary through high school?
Thank you. That discussion from all that happened in recent time is leading to the government of Liberia calling an educational forum or platform from the different sector, elementary, junior high, secondary, and tertiary institutions with various stakeholders to review all of these different challenges and see how in our discussions together we can find the appropriate solutions to deal with our educational sector. And when that time comes, we hope that all of you, partners and friends, and Liberian citizens in the diaspora can join us to find the appropriate solution. Some of your colleagues tonight have given some suggestions that will take to that particular platform, and we hope that all of us can contribute to how best we can find the appropriate solution to help improve our educational sector. And the issue of elementary school, junior high, and secondary schools will be lifted high in that discussion because they're where they come from before they take the university entrance exams.
Do you have a recommendation for Dr. Nelson?
Well, my recommendation, I know that some of us been involved with some schools in Liberia, and the legislatures are not allocating enough money for some of these teachers to be paid enough to give the standard of education. If you guys can push more and get a little more money into the schools, because for some schools there, some of the professors have to leave to go get another job. The school system is the most important thing for our country. And if you guys are putting it behind and not looking into that seriously, most of those schools in Liberia go for budgetary, allocation. They don't get the money. If a school is allocated for them to get $500,000, giving them $250,000 is not enough to be able to, sustain our school. So I think when these principals and presidents of schools coming to you guys to ask for money, I think the government need to give them a little bit more for them to have the equipment, the instructors that they need in the school, because this is very embarrassing to us as Liberia in different foreign countries for almost 3,500 students failing is very embarrassing. So I think the legislatures need to look into that and give them a little bit more to be able to do what they need for them to have, good teachers in the school. That's my only recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm taking note of that, and I know in that forum they will be part of the stakeholders that will be at that forum, so that we can discuss the educational sector and where we go from there.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. We're going to take Rebecca Guthrie. That's 9184. Rebecca, are you with us? Rebecca Guthrie?
Yeah, I'm available, but I really don't have a question. I just want to thank the Honorable for taking our time to come today to the forum, and all of the suggestions that people made is good. Some of it, I don't know, you were a little bit angry, you were answering a little bit harshly, but one of the comments that he made that really was that it left with the student, because it's the student that make the school. If the teacher come to class, teach, they do their best, it left with the student to comprehend. The thing that been going on in Liberia is that one of the callers said, a lot of them say, well, if there anything, I will go give the teacher something. Because of that, most of them don't take their schooling seriously. And if the teacher will stop accepting bribe from students too, it will also help. We understand that their pay is very low, but once this is what you are sacrificing your time to do it to the best. I know it is hard, teacher not getting much when it comes to salary, but this is a profession that you put your life at stake for. So do it to the best. And one of the things that minister, you guys need to really put into place is that dropping your teacher in school. Because of that, most of them come to class, they rush with the lesson, and at the end of the day, they know students will come with something under the table. And this is what in the system that you people need to try by all means to get rid of. Even though I said from the beginning I didn't have a question, but comment, but I think you people are doing your best, but you still need to do more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will do more. We'll keep trying. Yeah.
So go ahead, sir.
No, I was saying to Rebecca, thank you for the comment. We will keep trying, and we all get forward to go. When you destroy your own country, many years you get back to normality, and that's what we're all trying to do. And if we get to the point where some of us believe that we will get quicker to normality, then we make the analysis where it may to come from a severe crisis to normality. And that's all we need to do. But we believe that all of us, giving our own contribution, our own ability to contribute to the educational sector will help make a big difference. It's one thing to find all the questions and all the challenges. If you're not preferring any solution to the problem, then you're not helping us to move forward. And that's why we believe this program has the opportunity for recommendation. We look forward to that. We'll receive them and believe that all of us can work together to help save our educational sector. The policymakers will have their part to play. The students will have their part to play. The instructors will have their part to play. And the administrators will have their part to play also. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Nelson. Dr. Nelson, we have 236 callers tonight. So it was epic and informative. We would like to say to the public that Dr. Nelson did not hesitate coming to join us tonight. He was very, very helpful. He did not, again, hesitate. He was very happy to receive our invitation, and he took it right away. Dr. Nelson would like to say, could you go ahead and give us your closing argument, sir?
Well, the first, thank you for this opportunity to be on your program and to share with our colleagues, those who are listening, that most often when you're doing this interview, the way you respond will be misinterpreted. The way people evaluate the educational system in Liberia, get to have all the different facets together before you come to conclusion. There's a tendency for some of us to not have all the pieces of the information together, and then we draw different conclusions. And all I was saying tonight, as a Liberian, as one who has studied in America and have traveled in America, different parts of the United States, to encourage all of you, before you come to conclusion about anything concerning Liberia, whether negative or positive, it is good to do some homework before you come to the conclusion, because the development of Liberia depends on all of us, and sometimes there will be high points and then there will be low points, and we all can do it together. Don't feel ashamed because the university say people fail the university test. Failing means that they didn't meet the threshold. The threshold was 50% in mathematics and 70% in English. If they didn't meet that threshold, the Senate that made a decision, the faculty senate at the university said it would not be a good thing to not have a freshman class in the new academic year. So let's move from 50% in mathematics to 40% in mathematics and 50% in English. From that new threshold, we got 1,600 students. They will come in. They will only be allowed to do the English and mathematics to prepare them to be good students as they move forward. So that's where we are from now. We'll see what will happen the next time around. But I want to call on all of you, those of you who are interested in the educational sector, find different ways and means, different suggestions, different ideas to those you know in Liberia. So when that educational forum is given to all of us, we can all contribute to how best to improve the educational system. To just say you are doing the wrong thing, you are not doing that, you are not doing that, will not solve the problem. All of us need to find the solutions to help improve the educational sector in Liberia. If we can do this, then we will be moving forward. Nobody can do it for us, only we can do it for ourselves. Thank you all, and God bless you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Nelson, the President and Vice President for Student Affairs at the Dean for Student Affairs at the University of Liberia. Dr. Nelson would like to say it was epic and informative, giving us details about the university and the good work you guys are doing for our brothers and sisters over there. We hope you guys will keep up the good work, and please do not forget to take some of the recommendations and take it with Madam Salif and let them increase the salary of some of the professors or students at a different level so that next year we should not face the same problem. Dr. Nelson.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Loflamont at Control, and it was epic and informative having you on. Good night, and wish you the good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.